Welcome to Pretty Over 50. I'm Kimberly and I'm really glad you're here. This morning we're going to have a lot of fun creating a classic neutral look with just a little bit of pop. So this is the look that we'll be working on this morning. Isn't that pretty? It's just a classic look that you can wear every day to work, out in the evening. It will just really give you that wonderful glowing natural beauty that we all love to have. So I'm going to start today with CoverGirl Lid Lockup Eyeshadow Primer. Just a little bit on the lids, not too much. I'm going to pat that out. This eyeshadow primer is a little stickier than a lot of them out there right now, but it really does grip onto the eyeshadow and give you really long-lasting wear. While that's drying down, I'm going to go ahead and put on the face primer so it has time to really set into my skin while we're doing the eyeshadow look. I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Mineral Infused Primer. This is really currently one of my favorite face primers. It really works well with most foundations that I use and particularly well with the concealer that I'm loving right now. So it's a real favorite for me at this time. Just a little bit on the back of my hand and just start to wash that over the skin. To create today's classic neutral look, I'm going to be working with the Lorac Pro palette. I've actually had this palette for a little while and I'm really loving it. It has so many beautiful neutral shades. You can see that the neutrals in this palette are just so sophisticated, so soft, and really, really beautiful. It's a beautiful collection. Now with this particular palette, the mattes are on the top and the shimmers are on the bottom. So for me, that makes it really easy for me to work with because I'm not kind of hunting for the mattes or the shimmers. I know exactly where they are. I've also done my eyebrows off camera and a little bit of lippy just for moisture, and I'm using this morning the Milani Keep It Full in the color Luminoso. I'm going to start with this color right here, which is one of the mattes, and it is taupe. And I'm going to take my crease brush. I believe this is a Profusion brush. It actually came in one of my Profusion palettes, and I've really been loving it, so I've continued to use it. It's really quite a nice brush. So I'm just going to dip it in to that taupe very lightly, tap it off, and start working that into the crease. Just a light wash of color, and with my eyeshadow application I'm very careful not to go beyond my eyebrow area because when my eyes are lifted like this when I'm putting my eyeshadow on, it's very different than when my eyes are relaxed, and that shadow when it comes down it really does tend to drag down on my look and just not give me that bright-eyed appearance that I'm really looking for. Now I'm going to go in with my blending brush and really work on the edges of that crease color so it's all smoothed out and really blended well. For the lid color, I'm going to take a flat brush, and gosh, this is a brush I've had forever, and it's from Bare Essentials, and I've loved this brush. It's really been quite a workhorse. So I'm going to tap it into the color Cream right here and start covering my lids. And I've learned that with my lids, tapping is the best application method because I have a lot of nooks and crannies up there now that I didn't used to have. The color saturation on these eyeshadows are just really lovely. They're very smooth and creamy, really easy to work with. I enjoy this palette a lot and actually use it quite a bit. I'm going to go back in with the blending brush now and kind of blend together the line between the crease color and the lid color, just so that we have a very smooth transition. To add some depth, I'm going to go into the outer corners and I'm going to use the color Sable, which is right here. Just dip into that very lightly, tap it off, and I'm just going to start tapping a line at the very edge of my lid and up into the crease. I really found that tapping is the best application for this, particularly with my eyes. This is really going to give us definition to the outer corner of the eye and make our eye really pop, look a little bit larger, and really accentuate the crease above the lid. I'm going to go back in with the crease brush and just start to blend that into both the crease color and the lid color. These shadows really blend so well together. They're just a delight to work with. It's a good palette. You know, this is a palette that will give you a classic neutral look for a long, long time because the shadows do have so much color payout and will last such a long time. Got that all blended in. I think it's time for a coffee break. If it's me, you know I'm having my Lavazza coffee in the morning when I'm getting ready. This coffee is so smooth. It's like adult hot chocolate. It's just one of my favorite things. And sometimes when I'm going to bed at night, I'm so excited to wake up the next morning and to be able to have my coffee. Do you do that too? I'm going to take that flat brush again and tap into that color cream just lightly. And then I'm going to go up underneath my brow and just really add a little bit of highlight to that brow area up above where the crease color has been blended out. And because I get a little bit of darkness in here, in this area here, you know, just from aging, from the skin not being as firm, I try to bring a little bit of that in to sort of lighten up that area. So we have a beautiful neutral look going now. It's all blended out. These colors are just delicious. What I'm going to do now is pop it up with just a little bit of shimmer to kind of take it from a very, very neutral classic look to have just a little bit of a pop. I'm going to dip my finger into this color down here. It's one of the shimmer shades, and this is Champagne. So I'm just going to dip my finger into that and draw it across that cream color on the lid, just about halfway. Just patting it in. Isn't that pretty? You can see it just adds a little bit of glamour to this classic everyday look. Other side. Isn't that pretty? It's kind of a pearlescent oyster color. It's really a beautiful color. So to kick it up even more, I'm going to tap my finger into this color Pewter right here. Just get a little bit of that on my finger. And then I'm going to tap that to the outer third of my lid. That's just going to add a little bit of shimmer and glow to that accent at the corner of the eye, just about a third of the eyelid on the outside. I'm going to go back in with my blending brush again and just blend in the line between those two shimmers, just to help them transition really smoothly. For foundation, I'm going to be using the L'Oreal True Match foundation, and I wear this in the color Classic Ivory N2. And I've used this foundation before and I really like it, and it's actually quite a favorite for women with mature skin. It really does provide great coverage, a bit of a glowy look, and lasts all day. It doesn't have a pump, so I'm going to put a little on my finger and start tapping that around my face. I'm going to be using my beauty blender that's slightly moistened to go ahead and tap that foundation out. I always try to get over on the sides of my face really well because I've got some sunspots from all my fun in the sun, and I really like to get those covered. This works into the skin really well. It's not a lot of effort to tap it out, and it blends in with my skin really beautifully. I always have to be careful because I have such deep marionette lines here that when I pounce the foundation in, that I go back and check it when I'm done with my makeup application to make sure that anything that's settled in those little nooks and crannies gets smoothed out. You can see that this foundation has a real beautiful, I think, medium to full coverage, nice color, and just a beautiful finish on the skin, really a classic look. For concealer today, I'm going to be using my current favorite. I'm absolutely loving this under eye concealer. It's from Rimmel and it is their lasting finish concealer, and I use the color Fair. And by golly, when I put this on, I can look in the mirror 8-10 hours later and it just hasn't moved. I'm really loving this concealer. I just put a little bit on the back of my hand and then take my ring finger and start tapping that out very gently. I've found that this concealer works really well with the e.l.f. Mineral Primer. I've used it with some other primers and it didn't have quite the staying powder, but this combination seems to work really, really well. I live right by the ocean, so my air here is really moist. So I think that it really does have an impact on how my makeup wears for the day. So that's something that I need to consider because our humidity is pretty high. Even though it's kind of cool, we still have a lot of moisture in the air. I've found that looking up when I'm putting on my under eye concealer really helps to blend it in more smoothly, particularly with all the texture that I have under my eye. To set the concealer today, I'm going to be using a new product. This is new to me. I heard that it was really quite a nice powder. It's the Rimmel Stay Matte Mattifying Loose Powder. So let's give this a try and see how it works out for the day. I've got just a little bit in the lid, and I'm going to take my angled e.l.f. brush that I love to use for my under eye concealing setting powder. And I'm just going to gently tap it in there, tap off the excess, and very carefully just lay it underneath my eye. And get that concealer to set. And what I found is that when I'm just getting done doing this, it might look a little bit textury, more so than without any makeup on, but as the skin warms up that product, it really seems to settle in nicely. I'm going to take my blending sponge again and just very carefully press that powder into that concealer. I'm really liking this concealer. If you guys end up using it and tell me what your experience is, put a little comment down below. To color up the face, we're looking a little bit matte and a little bit monochromatic right now. I'm going to go in with my e.l.f. bronzer palette. I really like this palette. You've probably seen it in my videos before. As you know, it's a 4-color palette, but I have 3 colors because I dropped it on the tile. This one popped out. I'm not even sure what color that was. Obviously, I'm not missing it. So I'm going to take my large e.l.f. blending brush and just go in with these 2 colors right here. Softly on my brush, tap it off, and just start working around the edges of the face just to give us some warmth and definition and texture or color back into the skin. I really enjoy this palette. I haven't been on the search for any other bronzing palettes lately because I've been enjoying this one so much. But if you have one that you like and you want me to try and do a little, demonstration on the channel, put it down below. I'd love to hear what you're using. So just around the edges of the face. And I always like to flip my mirror. When I'm doing my makeup, I have the magnifying side of the mirror, but I like to flip it around and so I can see more of the regular magnification to make sure that, the face products that I'm putting all over my face are blending in well. For blush today, I'm going to go into my Profusion Pink Nudes palette. If you're not familiar with the Profusion line of cosmetics, I really recommend you take a look at them. They're so wonderful and the price point is amazing. So this is the Pink Nudes palette, and you can see that it's a combination of eyeshadows up here and then blushes and highlighters down here. I've been using this for a few weeks now and I really, really love it. And today we're going to be going into the blush color Fantasia, which is right down here. This is a soft rosy pink blush with just a little bit of shimmer. And the look throughout the day is so lovely. I can have done my face in the morning and be out during the day and catch myself in the mirror, and if other things are not looking as good as they could, that blush just really pops and brings a nice glow to the face. So if you haven't tried these, I'd really recommend them. They're easy on the pocketbook and they're really wonderful, great value. So I'm just going to tap a little bit. This is my Echo Tools brush. I use this for my blush brush, and you can see this came in a travel kit because the handles are really short, and I like them so well I brought them over onto my makeup table and use them here now. So just a little bit on the face. And of course, with powder products, where you first put your brush down is where you're going to have the most product. And I'm just small circles blending that out. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but the slight bit of glow on that blush is so pretty. Small circles blending it out. Isn't that a pretty look? Just a soft glowy pink with just that little bit of gold shimmer. I really like it. I'm going to go back in with my e.l.f. blending brush and just blend that blush into the bronzer, just to give it a nice smooth look. The highlighter today is going to come from the Profusion palette as well. I don't need a lot of highlight because the shimmer in the blush, but I'm just going to tap into the smashing just a little bit. It's a gold, glittery kind of highlight. Let me swatch that for you. You can see, isn't that pretty? It just has a nice little gold shimmer, and I thought that gold would look really pretty with the neutral look that we have going on today. So just a little bit on the high points of the face. I go back in with my blending brush again and blend that out. I've curled my lashes, and now I'm going to tight line with the Ulta gel liner in black. I'm really loving these. I ordered them off the Ulta website when they were having their sale because the reviews were so good on this particular product. And you know, the reviews were really earned. When you put that, and when you tight line with this, it really doesn't transfer onto that bottom waterline. So I'm really enjoying these. The color is nice in black, and it goes on really easily and smoothly. Really adds some nice definition to that lash line. I'm going to be using the CoverGirl Exhibitionist Mascara today. I'm really enjoying this, particularly because it doesn't flake and it doesn't transfer onto the skin underneath my eyes. You know, my eyelashes on the bottom are a little bit long, and so they touch my skin, and I can really get easily mascara transfer onto my lower eyelid area. So I'm really liking that the CoverGirl doesn't seem to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and get my upper lashes on. I'll be right back. For the lower lashes, I'm going to go back into the Lorac palette, take that same crease brush I was using, and I'm going to dip it in to the color taupe, and then tap that off and squeeze it and just run it really softly under that lower lash line. Then I'm going to take just a small little pencil brush and dip it into the sable, which we used for the accent color, the definition color at the corner of the eye. Tap that off and run it really close to that lower lash line. And what this is going to do is it's just going to tie in the top and the bottom lash area and really give us some nice little definition. So for the lower lashes, I'm going to use my usual technique that I've been using from high school, and if you watched one of my videos before, you'll know this. I take a piece of tissue, fold it over, load up product on my mascara brush, tuck the tissue underneath my eyelashes, and then I'm able to really get a lot of product on those lower lashes. And the nice thing is I'm able to run the brush back and forth so I can get the sides of the lashes as well. It really allows to get a lot of product on those lower lashes. To finish off the face, I'm going to go in with some new, to me, Maybelline products. I actually got one of their lip liners, the Color Sensational lip liner in the color Beige Babe. And we're going to outline the lips with that. You can see it's just a beautiful neutral beige color. I thought it would go really pretty with the look that we have today. And I always outline the outside of my lip line because I'm getting older, a little older, and my lips aren't as plump as they used to be. So I try to give myself as much lip as possible by lining on the outside edge. You know, these lip liners are very creamy. They really go on very smoothly. They almost glide on, which is a nice sensation. So this is the Beige Babe lip liner. And for lippy, I'm also using a Maybelline product today, and this is the Warm Me Up. This is a new color for me. I haven't used it before today. So you can see it's a beautiful neutral with just a little bit of rose in it. It says Warm Me Up. It's number 235. And let's go ahead and glide that on. The formula is very smooth. It has just sort of a very light florally smell. Boy, I'm really liking that color. So that's our Maybelline lip. Before we finish up, I'm just going to go back over the whole look and kind of pat it down with the Beauty Blender. I always have to look in this area here because that's where my product seems to want to collect and have a little party all on its own. Just to finish things off, I'm going to go in with my Maybelline Fit Me powder, and this is in the color 120 Classic Ivory, and just tap it on with my Real Techniques brush very lightly in my T-zone, which is where I tend to get a little shiny during the day. To top everything off, I'm going to go in with the Catrice setting spray. I'm liking this. You can see that it's about a third of the way down, so I'm enjoying it. So there we have our neutral with just a little bit of pop. I want to thank you for joining me for this Get Ready with me. I think the stars of this look are really the Lorac palette, and I'm loving, of course, the Pink Nudes collection from Profusion. If you haven't tried Profusion, I'd really recommend that you do. It's just a really terrific line of shadows, blushes at a great price point. And I'm also really loving this lipstick from Maybelline. It is the Warm Me Up in color 235. Thank you again for joining me. This is Pretty Over 50. I'm Kimberly. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you would subscribe and give me a thumbs up. And I will see you in the next video. Make it a great day. Bye now.